Isn't it interesting how the NBA offseason just started about a week ago? With offseason speculation, even during the season, had seemed more interesting than the actual NBA season itself. Last week, when the NBA Finals ended with Golden State sweeping the Cavs, I think it was safe to say that even those with little to no basketball knowledge, everyone had a pretty good idea who was going back to the finals and probably going to win it all this year. This team obviously being the Golden State Warriors. Yes, some people may have thought that the Cavs would get back to the finals to rematch Golden State in the beginning due to them having LeBron James, but I doubt it was speculated as much that Cleveland would make it back to the finals, much less win it in comparison to the Warriors. Especially due to the fact that Kyrie Irving was traded and how the regular season went for the Cavs, the bad play, midseason trades, etc. Though there were a few pleasant surprises in the NBA this year, my favorite being Philly, finally having a half-decent basketball team, the regular season win total, and seeing Embiid stay healthy among other things. I would like to see them go further in the playoffs, but I guess you can't win them all. Trust the process, right? Anyway, other surprises included seeing how well Houston played when James Harden, Chris Paul, and Capella played together. Some could have made the argument that Houston would have went to the finals if Chris Paul hadn't been injured, but we'll never know at this point, and it's obviously just speculation, but good speculation at that. Then we had Donovan Mitchell and how he played, of course, and last but not least, Jason Tatum and Victor Oladipo. But even with these surprises, the fact still remains. This NBA offseason is probably going to be filled with more excitement and varied speculations than the 2018 NBA season itself. Some people will call it a bad thing, but I don't totally agree with that. I'll probably talk about this in a later video centered around why so many people hate super teams, the concept of it in the NBA, but I'm not going to focus on that as much today. I'm going to focus on the pros instead of the cons of this version of the NBA, which some people have gone as far to say it's a parody of its former self. The main good thing about this boring version of the NBA is the talent that will be cultivated and produced from teams who seemingly have a less talented group of players. One example of this is Victor Oladipo, who played with arguably one of the top 3 point guards in the NBA right now. Note that I'm saying top 3 instead of best because the case could be made that Russell Westbrook isn't the best point guard regardless of his stats, but that's another video for another time. Anyway, Oladipo was traded to the Indiana Pacers for Paul George, with many people believing the Thunder had convincingly won the trade with the Pacers. But after Oladipo was able to play and shine for the Pacers, the popular opinion seemed to have shifted that the Pacers had won the trade. Oladipo considerably improved from last season with the Thunder and averaged 23 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.3 assists this year in comparison to George, who averaged just under 22 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 3.3 assists per game. In Indiana, where a superstar player such as Russell Westbrook wasn't present, Oladipo was able to reach higher heights and have a far bigger impact on his team. Another player who stood out this year and showed his potential was none other than Donovan Mitchell. He played amazingly for the Jazz with no superstars around him and only being a rookie, leading his team to the second round of the playoffs. And even though I'm rooting for Ben Simmons to win Rookie of the Year, I'm kind of thinking Donovan Mitchell deserves it more due to the position he was in with his team. But I'm not with that Ben Simmons isn't a real rookie bullshit. Ben Simmons is definitely a rookie. It's his first year playing in the NBA, but that's a different topic. The final example of new talent being cultivated is none other than Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics after Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward went down for the season. Leading the way for his team in his rookie year to the Eastern Conference Finals, Tatum averaged 13.9 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.6 during the entire season, with his stats jumping in the playoffs to 18.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Doing this, he was also being compared to greats such as Larry Bird. And the argument can be made that if Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward weren't injured, Tatum wouldn't have gotten the chance to display the talent the way he did, which is setting a precedent for him coming into next season. So by now you're probably thinking, sure, players will rise to the occasion when facing greater odds, such as having little to no help on their team or facing a super team of 4 All-Stars. But that doesn't change the fact that the league is more boring and predictable now. And while I agree with that, I don't think it sucks as much as most people make it out to be. A super team can only last but so long with contracts, egos, and other things getting in the way. So yeah, in short term, the NBA might be considered boring for a year or two more, but after the dust settles and all the other NBA teams adjust, the NBA will have a better, more talented group of teams and players to compete with each other, thus making the NBA more exciting and fun to watch. And for those of you who think that more super teams will just pop up for 2, 3, or 4 more teams, making the whole process start over again, this is extremely unlikely. You have to remember the Warriors got 3 of their 4 current All-Stars in the draft, which was either insanely lucky or really calculated, both of which are extremely unlikely to happen in the future anytime soon again. Anyway, that's the end of this video, and you'll see me in the next one.